drumlessonacademy.com. Take your drumming to the next level.
Hi, my name's Darren Ashford. Welcome to the Drum Lesson Academy. In this lesson, I'm going to take a simple 16th note beat and by adding some contrasting dynamics to it, make it a lot more effective. And in the top tip, I'm going to give you my guide to rim shots. We're going to start off today with the simple hand-to-hand 16th note pattern. 16th notes, just to recap, is where we divide the beat or pulse into 4 evenly spaced notes. And we usually use the phonetic 1 eander, 2 eander, 3 eander, 4 eander to help us count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 eander, 2 eander, 3 eander, 4 eander, 1 eander, 2 eander, 3 eander, 4 eander. So you can hear there the 16th notes are evenly spaced. I was actually playing them all at the same dynamic, i.e. exactly the same volume. What I'm going to do now is play exactly the same pattern, sticking is exactly the same, except I'm going to bring 2 and 4, beats 2 and 4, to the snare drum. And that sounds a little bit like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's move to the next stage. We're going to add the bass drum on beats 1 and 3. So exactly the same hand pattern as I've just played, except we're adding the bass drum note. And that sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's make this a little bit more interesting. I'm now going to move the left hand to the snare drum. I'm still going to be playing exactly the same pattern, the hand-to-hand 16th note pattern. This time my left hand is going to stay on the snare drum. The difference dynamically will be that I'll be playing ghost notes for every one of those notes. Now a ghost note is a really quiet, subtle sounding note which is played from a very low stick height. And the key to this is to make sure that you're getting a nice tone but a very quiet sound. So that sounds a little bit like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so during that pattern, my right hand in isolation is actually playing this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my right hand is in effect playing 8th notes, obviously. And so what I can do there, all the notes that were playing on the hi-hat there were all the same dynamic. What I want to do now is to make beat 1 and 3 quiet. Now this is actually a little bit tricky because what we're doing with all this morphing of the beat is actually changing the internal dynamics of the groove to make it a little bit more effective. So here's an example of that with a quiet note on 1 and 3 on the hi-hat, right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. It does take a little bit of getting used to this approach of using internal dynamics within a groove, but it'll definitely give your grooves a nice bit of spice and a bit of life and make them a little bit more interesting. So the next time you start listening to some music, just check out to see, 1, if there's any ghost notes, and 2, if there's any changes in the internal dynamic throughout the beat. It's well worth checking out.
It's time for Darren's Top Tip.
In this top tip, I'm going to be covering some sounds and textures that you can get out of the snare drum. Now, the reason I'm going to cover this now is because in the past week I've been doing some masterclasses and some teaching, and there seems to be quite a lot of confusion as to what these things are called. So I thought I'd take this opportunity in the top tip to clear up some of this confusion. Okay, the first sound I'm going to cover is the rim shot. Now, the rim shot is where we connect the tip of the stick with the surface of the drum head and the shaft of the stick with the rim of the drum at exactly the same time. And that looks and sounds a little bit like this. Now, this next sound is where the confusion comes in, because I know of it by 3 names, and it's usually other instrumentalists that get the names wrong. They even call this a rim shot, but it's not a rim shot. So the names that it's known by are cross stick, side stick, and rim click. They are one and the same thing. So that sounds and looks a little bit like this. Okay, the third and final sound that I'm going to show you is called a stick shot. Now, this is probably more commonly associated with jazz. And the way that we play this is basically we connect with one stick into the center of the drum and we strike that stick with the other stick. So here's a quick example of that. Okay, that concludes this lesson from the Drum Lesson Academy. My name is Darren Ashford. If you have any comments, questions or suggestions, you can go to drumlessonacademy.com and post a comment. You can also contact me via social media. My Twitter handle is ashdrum, and if you go to Facebook, you can search for Drum Lesson Academy and you will find me there too. You can also sign up to the Drum Lesson Academy newsletter, and we'll keep you up to date with all the latest lessons as and when they get published. And we've got some free stuff to give away. I've written some articles that are on there as well if you sign up. And also I will be in the near future releasing some videos that will only go to my subscribers, so it's another really good reason to get signed up. My name's Darren Ashford here in the UK. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope to catch you very soon.
drumlessonacademy.com. Take your drumming to the next level.